Oh, you've got to love a cuckoo at 4 o'clock in the morning, haven't you? They are relentless. Well, Tuesday morning, back in the end of Ireland swim at St Ives. And incredibly early. Looking nice out there. A little mist coming up off the water. The water's warmed right up since last week. We've had a couple of really hot days. The fish have eventually done their spawning, or done some of it anyway. And they're back out there in the middle in open water. See a few yesterday. All the baits are out there about 100 yards plus. Just waiting for bite time, which should be starting about now really. If there's going to be one. Oh God, I need a cup of tea. Morning, Pablo. He's a good boy. Well, it's a perfect start to the morning. Put the kettle on, went off for a wee, came back, my sleeping bag was on fire. And like an idiot, I decided to beat it out with my hand, and it all stuck to my fingers and now burnt on my fingers as well. So I suppose the morning can only get better. Well, you'll not be surprised to know that I've moved. I sat over there. Where was I? Over the back here, and the back of our end of Ireland swim. And bite time was ticking by. It was about 8 o'clock, I suppose. And I'd seen a couple right out in the middle. And then I saw, I must have seen 5 or 6 in quick succession over in this swim, which hadn't been fished for quite a long while. I think I was the last one to fish it myself. I know it hasn't, because that little wispy tree here, that was falling down over the front of the swim for the last couple of weeks. So I shot round it. I was in two minds, because I thought, well, I've only got, you know, if I'm going to get a bite in either swim, it's going to be sort of right then. And in the end, I just couldn't resist, so I grabbed the rods, just 3 rods in a net and a sack, legged it round here, see one pop its head out, so slung 3 rods out there. About 10 minutes later, and it was away, and I had one. He's tied up down there in a sack, waiting to be photoed. So it was well worth the move. I just thought fish showing in a different area, you know, and the way they were showing, there had to be a shout. So I done the do. Look at this swim. That's how often it gets fished. It's got cabbages growing in it, where your bivvy'd go. Proper little overgrown one. Oops. So, let's see what we caught. It's a mirror, probably about mid-20s I reckon, something like that. Very, very welcome. I'll get him out and show you. Right, it's my first attempt with my new camera. Apparently it pans and keeps me in focus wherever I go and whatever I do. Should be a bit of an improvement anyway. If you want to see me in focus, that is. Right, just weighed him. It's a smidgen under 25 pounds. A couple of ounces under. Oh. Grey old fella, looks like one of the old Burfield mirrors, to be honest. A bit lean at the front end, I think he's had a little bit of a thrash about in the spawning last week. Oh, there's another thrash about now, bless him. Whoa, 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 whoa. Nice little result from my move. So there's a few more to come. So right at the end of bite time, just snuck one out, saved the day, but I've got tonight and tomorrow. So. That'll do, we're slipping back, you don't want too much to pick about with. Right, unfortunately, cabbages have got to go. I've got just the tool for that. And all these brambles. As pretty as they are, and this is where my Vivi's going. The old reed cutter comes in handy for everything. Saves me getting me already ruined hand any worse with stinging nettles and stuff. Those blisters where I burnt it on that bivvy are caning. They're proper coming up now. A lesser man might have cried. I might have cried as well a little bit, if the truth be known. Sorted. Well, sun sets on another St Ives evening. I've spent a very, very unsuccessful 5 hours stalking today. I found a group of fish in a little tiny corner, no more than 2 rod lengths out. Climbed a tree, see them all circling around. They weren't big fish, probably about 5 or 6 fish around the £20 mark. And it was weedy as hell, probably a foot from the surface, and there was like a little hole in the middle of it, and they were dropping down in this hole and bubbling up. To be honest, I thought within about an hour I'd have one. So I flicked the bait out there, and 5 hours later I was still waiting. I repositioned it 4 times. They were bubbling all over the top of it. God knows what they were eating, but it certainly weren't bait. They had no interest in what I was offering them. So I shot back round to my new swim on the road bank, and I heard somebody calling from further along. So I shot along there. At first I thought it was something to do with Paddy. He'd gone missing, but he was just out there sniffing about, chasing rabbits. And I wandered down there, and there's a guy further down struggling with a fish. Just got it in the net, wanted a bit of a hand, and it was the big one. And very, very surprisingly, seeing as they've all spawned and they're all sort of £3 to £5 lower, that one hadn't spawned, and it was considerably bigger, and it was just under £53. Absolute monster. So he was a happy chappy, especially it was his first fish from the lake. So I'll get everything all out there, set for the morning, see what comes along. But I know what it won't be. It won't be the big one. Lane Carp this morning, didn't he? She loads yesterday, didn't he? It's nothing today. It's nothing. I don't know what's happened to the fish today. Must have seen about, I don't know, 10 fish by now yesterday. It's nothing showing this morning. About 7 o'clock now. I think I moved round here at 8 yesterday because I'd seen a load of them. I thought they'd be up and about, but don't seem to be the case. Funny old fish on here, never seem to do the same thing 2 days running. Get in a swim where you've seen them and think it's all going to kick off the next day, and just don't. I'm going to spend another couple of hours stalking up the far corner where I went yesterday and failed miserably. But, I'm going to have another little go before I go home. I'm off about sort of 1 o'clock today, so I might spend my last couple of hours around there and see if I can right the wrongs and get one of them, if they're still there anyway. Well, there was precious little happening around there in the swim I did the night in. Went for a little walk up and down the bank and I saw one launch out right up this other end where I was stalking yesterday. So I decided to bring all 3 rods up here. I knew before I left yesterday I had a little cast about. Well, a cast, little plop about, it's only under the rod tips. And I found 3 little spots I was happy with. So I've literally just got them all about a rod length out, dead slack lines. Probably 1 ounce leads, just one little clip for each one. I know they're here. I've just been up a tree and seen a couple of cruising along the edge. It's just a case of if they're going to be any more obliging than yesterday, because they passed over and over and over me yesterday without looking at anything. But today's a bit moodier, a little bit cloudier, a bit cooler. Maybe a bit better for proper feeding. See how it goes. I've seen a couple of little fizzers already, not a great deal. But we shall see. Well, Pabwa, that's about it for this week, isn't it? 1 fish and lots of running around. 2 days, 5 swims, most of which have ended up looking like this. Bottom sides. But we've had one. We've seen a big one, caught a 25 pounder. Had a nice few hours stalking. They got a good trip really. Energetic. The only downside was setting light to my sleeping bag and burning my hand, but apart from that it's all been good. So, just a matter of chucking all of this, whoops, in the back of that, and then we're off. So, till such times, see you later.